Welcome to our channel. Today, you're not just watching another motivational video. You're entering a new way of thinking, a new way of living, a new path that very few people ever follow. Because this video is about something that doesn't look powerful on the outside, something most people ignore, something most people are too impatient to understand. It's called the silent power of daily practice. You don't see it on Instagram. You don't hear it in viral speeches. You don't get applause for doing it. But if you learn it, if you master it, if you live by it, you will become unstoppable. This video is not just about motivation. It's about transformation. This video is also great for improving your English listening practice, because every word is explained in simple English that even beginners can understand. So you'll not only learn about success, you'll also train your brain in English fluency at the same time. So watch this video till the end. Take notes if possible. And if you're serious about improving your life and your English, subscribe to our channel right now, because this is not just a video. This is a daily training system for your brain, your habits, and your future. Now let's begin. Truth number 1. Small effort daily. Big effort. Rarely. You don't need to do a lot once. You need to do a little. Every day, everyone wants big success. So most people try big things. Once in a while. They go to the gym. Once. They try to write a book for 3 days. They start speaking English for 1 week, and then they stop. Why? Because they believe that success comes from big effort, from big motivation, from big action. But the truth is, success doesn't come from big effort once. It comes from small effort, repeated daily, without stopping. Apple is one of the richest companies on earth, worth over $1.6 trillion. But how did it become that way? Not because of one magical iPhone, not because of one lucky moment. It happened because they do something very small every single day. They make small improvements. Example: Steve Jobs was famous for asking his engineers, "Can we make it 1% better?" Not 100%, not 50%. Just 1% better every day. That's why the iPhone looks better every year. That's why their design feels smoother. That's why people trust the Apple brand. Because behind the scenes, Apple is practicing. Every single day. The result? They don't just sell phones. They sell habits. They sell discipline. They sell perfection, created through quiet, consistent effort. You can do the same in your life, but only if you stop trying to be perfect once and start doing small things daily. Stop thinking, "I need to work hard once and win." Start thinking, "I need to repeat small wins every day." This mindset alone will change your life. Because now, even if you only study English for 10 minutes a day, even if you only do 5 push-ups a day, even if you only save $1 a day, you are winning. And if you keep winning daily, you become a winner for life. Big effort once makes you look good. Small effort daily makes you unstoppable. Don't wait for motivation. Don't wait for the perfect day. Just start today. Small, quiet, and powerful. Do 1 push-up. Read 1 page. Speak 1 sentence in English. Improve just 1%. And do it every day. That's how legends are born. Truth number 2. The boring work is the most important. The work that feels boring is the work that makes you great. Most people want success, but they also want excitement, motivation, adrenaline. They want things to feel new, fun, fast, fresh, interesting. And when things get boring, they stop. But here's what every champion, every master, and every elite performer knows. Success lives in the boring repetition, not in the drama, not in the hype, not in the noise. It lives in silence. It lives in the boring hours when nobody's watching. It lives in the quiet daily practice, the kind that would bore most people to death. That's why most people will never be great. Because they leave when things stop feeling exciting. But greatness begins after the excitement ends. Let's talk about one of the greatest basketball legends of all time, Kobe Bryant. When other NBA players were sleeping, Kobe was already in the gym at 4 a.m., practicing the same jump shot over and over and over, not trying new tricks, not recording content, not showing off, just the same boring shot. Again and again, thousands of times, every single day. His teammates asked him once, "Kobe, why do you keep practicing the same move? You've already mastered it." And he replied, "Because every time I do it, I get a little better. And that's the difference between good and great." Want to speak fluent English? Practice the same sentence patterns daily. Want to get fit? Repeat the same exercises even when they bore you. Want to become rich? Repeat the daily habits of saving, budgeting, learning, no matter how dull it feels. The most successful people in the world are the most disciplined in boring moments, because they know something others don't. Boring is not the enemy. It's the path. Instead of chasing excitement, build a system of repetition. Repeat the same English conversation exercise every day. Review the same vocabulary list until it's automatic. Write the same introduction sentence until you never forget it. This is the boring work that builds fluency. And it's the same boring work that builds millionaires, champions, authors, and leaders. So respect the boring, honor the repetition, and keep going, because boring practice leads to brilliant performance. Truth 3. Repetition creates identity. People say, "I'm not disciplined. I'm not smart. I'm not a confident speaker. I'm not good at English." But they're wrong. They're not disciplined. They just haven't practiced discipline enough to become it. Here's the truth. The person you are is a result of what you repeat. You are not lazy. You just repeated laziness. You are not shy. You just repeated fear. You are not a bad English speaker. You just never repeated English enough to own it. The good news? If repetition created your current identity, then repetition can also destroy it and create a new one. Example: Mohamed Salah, one of the world's top footballers, was not born a star. He was not fast. He was not strong. He was not famous. He came from a small village in Egypt, far from the stadiums of Europe. But he had one thing most people don't: repetition. He practiced football for hours every single day. He ran the same drills, kicked the same shots, trained alone when others were sleeping. And slowly, his identity changed. He wasn't just a kid from Egypt anymore. He became a machine. He became relentless. He became world-class. Repetition rewired his brain. Repetition transformed his body. Repetition built his future. Now the world calls him the Egyptian king. But he was never a king in the beginning. He practiced royalty until he became it. What are you repeating daily? If you repeat fear, you become anxious. If you repeat avoidance, you become weak. If you repeat laziness, you become a quitter. But if you repeat discipline, you become strong. If you repeat daily English speaking, you become fluent. If you repeat respect for yourself, you become confident. Repetition is not just about getting better. It's about becoming someone new. Don't wait until you feel confident. Repeat confidence until you are confident. Don't wait until English is easy. Repeat English until it feels natural. Every sentence you say, every word you write, every practice session you complete is one vote for the person you want to become. So keep voting, keep repeating, keep building the identity of the future you. Because one day, the world will look at you and say, they're so confident, they're so fluent, they're so focused. But only you will know the real reason why, because you repeated it until it became your truth. Truth 4. You're always training something, even if it's weakness. Every day you are training. The only question is, what are you training to become? Most people think they're only training when they're doing something productive. They believe, I'm training when I go to the gym. I'm training when I study English. I'm training when I practice guitar or coding or speaking. But that's not true. The truth is far more intense, far more serious, far more dangerous. Here's the reality. You are always training, every minute, every day, every choice. Even when you're not practicing, you are still training your brain, your emotions, your reactions. For better or for worse, you are always becoming something, and you might not even realize it. Imagine, when you scroll on your phone for hours, you are training your brain to crave distraction. When you skip small promises to yourself, you are training your mind to tolerate weakness. When you avoid speaking English because you're scared of mistakes, you are training your brain to link learning with fear. When you say, I'll do it tomorrow, every day, you are training the habit of quitting. You might think, I'm just resting. No, you're training laziness. You might think, I'm just staying quiet in class. No, you're training social fear. You might think, I'll start next week. No, you're training delay. This is the scary part. You're always getting better at something, but that something might be making you weaker, not stronger. Let's take two ordinary people. Both are tired after work. Both have free time at night. One person opens Netflix and watches 3 hours of a drama series. The other opens a notebook and practices 10 minutes of English speaking. Now here's the scary part. Both are training. One is training passivity, comfort, and escape. The other is training discipline, skill, and power. Repeat this for 365 days. At the end of the year, one person has a fluent tongue and a stronger brain. The other has a stronger addiction and a weaker will. They were both training. One just didn't know what they were training for. This is how life secretly builds you, or breaks you. Stop asking, am I improving? Start asking, what am I currently training myself to become? Are you training? Strength or softness? Focus or distraction? Speaking up or staying silent? Action or excuses? Confidence or insecurity? Because every action you take, every time you avoid or choose, is sending a signal to your brain. This is who we are becoming. Your brain is like a machine with billions of tiny pathways. Every time you repeat something, even small, it becomes easier to do next time. You don't have to want to do it. Your brain just says, oh, we've done this before, let's do it again. That's why people who always give up start giving up on everything. That's why people who avoid hard things start avoiding life itself. That's why people who scroll too much can't even finish one page of a book. It's not that they're lazy. It's that they trained themselves to be. Here's the good news. The same way you trained weakness, you can now train greatness. Start small. Speak English for 5 minutes every day. Keep one promise to yourself every day. Say no to one distraction every day. Read one page every day. Push your comfort zone by 1% every day. You are reprogramming your brain, word by word, step by step. No one will clap for you in the beginning, but one day people will look at you and say, "How are you so confident? How are you so focused? How are you so fluent? How are you so powerful?" And you will smile, not because it was easy, but because you trained for this. Don't ever say, "I'm not practicing today," because you are. You're either getting better or you're getting worse. But you're never staying the same. You're either practicing your dream or you're practicing your excuses. So choose wisely. What are you training right now? Your future is being built this very second, with or without your permission. Truth 5. Discipline is louder than motivation. You've been told your whole life, just stay motivated. Watch something motivational. Read something inspirational. Listen to hype music and you'll win. But here's the harsh truth. Motivation is a liar. It shows up when it wants. It leaves when you need it most. Motivation is emotional, not dependable. It's a visitor, not a resident. It's a spark, not a fire. People who depend on motivation live in emotional poverty. They wait for a feeling before they act. They wait for excitement, energy, perfect timing, stars to align. But high performers, champions, fluent English speakers, self-made success stories, they don't wait for motivation. They move without it. They don't feel like doing it. They just do it anyway. That's called discipline. Every day when you wake up, two voices speak to you. The voice of motivation says, "Today you feel good. Let's crush it." But when you feel tired tomorrow, it disappears. The voice of discipline says, "I don't care how you feel." We move anyway, and it shows up every single day, no matter how broken you feel inside. So ask yourself, which voice do you obey? Because the one you obey most often is the one that controls your destiny. Let's talk about Jocko Willink, former Navy SEAL commander, best-selling author, and global leadership expert. He wakes up at 4:30 a.m. every single day. Rain, snow, tired, sick, doesn't matter. He doesn't do it for Instagram. He doesn't do it for likes. He does it because it's his identity. When people ask him, "How do you stay so motivated to wake up early?" he replies with brutal honesty, "I'm not motivated. I'm disciplined." That's the difference. Motivated people need a reason to move. Disciplined people move, with or without a reason. Let's say you're learning English. Motivated mindset says, "Today I feel good. I'll study 3 hours. Today I feel lazy. I'll skip practice." Disciplined mindset says, "I study every day, even if it's just 10 minutes. My feelings don't decide my actions. My actions decide my future." One mindset is a roller coaster. The other is a rocket ship. Why discipline works better than motivation? Discipline builds trust in yourself. When you do what you said you'd do, no matter what, you build self-respect. Discipline survives pain. Motivation dies in discomfort. Discipline walks through fire. Discipline creates identity. You don't feel like a fluent speaker. You train like one, until you become one. Motivation is easy. Discipline is painful. That's why most people quit. Not because they're weak, but because they were lied to. They thought success would feel good every day. They thought learning English would always be exciting. They thought changing their life would be comfortable. But that's not how real change works. Discipline is uncomfortable. But so is staying the same. Choose your discomfort. Want to build discipline in English? Set a non-negotiable time every day, e.g. 6:30 p.m. equals 15 minutes of English speaking practice. Do it even if you're tired, sad, lazy, or unmotivated. Don't skip, don't delay, don't negotiate. After 30 days, your brain stops resisting. After 60 days, your fluency begins to rise. After 90 days, people start asking, "How did you get so good?" And you'll smile, because it wasn't motivation. It was discipline in silence. Want to lose weight? Eat healthy when your cravings scream junk food. Want to build a business? Show up when you have 0 results and 0 followers. Want to fix your mental health? Do the journaling, reading, or walking, even when your mind says it's pointless. That's discipline. It's not loud. It's not sexy, but it wins. If you wait for motivation, you'll only work when the weather is good, when the mood is right, when the music is perfect, when the day feels fresh, and your life will remain average. But if you train discipline, you'll move through storms. You'll act without applause. You'll build when no one believes. And one day, people will ask, "What's your secret?" You'll answer with a calm smile. I don't wait for permission. I don't wait to feel ready. I just show up. Every single day, that's discipline. And that's what makes you unstoppable. Truth number 6. Practice in private. Perform in public. The crowd sees the performance. Only you know the hours of practice in the dark. People want to be seen. They want to shine. They want likes, claps, recognition. But what they don't understand is this. Public success is only the echo of private practice. The awards you see, the fluent English speaker on stage, the singer with the perfect voice, the CEO with perfect answers. None of that was built in front of a camera. None of that was built in front of an audience. All of it, every bit of it, was built alone. In silence, in messy notebooks, in failed practice sessions, in quiet hours when nobody cared. Example: when you see Japan's bullet train racing across the country at nearly 200 miles per hour, smooth, silent, and always on time, it looks effortless, almost magical. But what you don't see is the private practice behind it. Engineers run thousands of tests in hidden facilities before a single train ever touches the tracks. Every part, from the brakes to the doors to the windows, is tested in silence, again and again. Entire simulations are performed with no passengers, no applause, no media. So when the train finally runs in public, it doesn't fail. It glides. It performs. It amazes. The world only sees the public perfection. But it was built through private, invisible hours of testing and repetition. That's exactly how life works. Your silent practice is the hidden testing ground. Your public performance is only the result. Just like the Shinkansen, if you prepare in silence, your results in public will look like magic. Want to speak English fluently in public? You must first stumble through it in private. Talk to your wall. Talk to your mirror. Talk to your notebook. Do it when no one is watching. Want to be respected for your success? Then earn your confidence in silence. Study quietly. Read daily. Build skills in the shadows. Want people to admire your results? Then fall in love with being unseen while you train. Because if you can practice without needing applause, one day the world will applaud you anyway. What you do in private becomes your power in public. You don't need to show the world your practice. You just need to show up. every day. Because silence is where confidence is born, and the crowd only claps for what you built in secret. Truth number 7. Your habits are your future, invisible but real. Most people think their future is built by big goals, big dreams, big decisions. But that's not true. The future is not built by what you hope. It's built by what you do, every single day. And what you do is controlled by your habits. But here's the catch. Habits are invisible, and that's what makes them dangerous. Because you don't even notice them. You brush your teeth without thinking. You pick up your phone without thinking. You skip practice without guilt. And little by little, you shape a life that feels out of your control. But you built it yourself, one invisible habit at a time. Let's take a surprising example from Japanese trains. Japan's bullet trains are famous for being super fast and super on time. But do you know how they maintain such extreme punctuality? They don't try to fix delays when they happen. They prevent them with something called 2% improvement culture. That means every day, every train driver, mechanic, and scheduler looks for tiny things to improve. Just 2%. A 2% improvement in how doors close. A 2% improvement in how passengers board. A 2% improvement in the braking system. Tiny changes, invisible to the public, but repeated daily. The result? Their trains are 99.999% on time. Delays of just 10 seconds are considered unacceptable. Not because of luck, not because of talent, because of invisible habits repeated consistently. You don't need a big life plan. You need better daily systems. You don't need 3-hour English classes. You need 15 minutes of daily English habit. At the same time, every day. You don't need 100 new things. You need 5 small habits done 100 times. Want to know where your life is going? Look at what time you wake up, what you do in your first hour, what you eat, how long you scroll, what you read, what you repeat. Your habits are the blueprint of your future. And the future does not lie. Start small. 1 new English sentence daily. 1 morning ritual to avoid your phone. 1 cup of water before coffee. 1 paragraph of journaling. 1 moment of reflection at night. Then protect these like gold. Because your habits are your private army. They either fight for you or against you. But they never rest. You don't rise to the level of your dreams. You fall to the level of your habits. So build habits that protect your peace. Build habits that grow your power. Build habits that repeat the life you want, not the life you're stuck in, because your habits are not small. They are everything. Truth number 8, daily practice, is how you build confidence without talking. You don't need to talk about how good you are. Just practice so much that it becomes obvious confidence is not something you're born with. It's not given. It's not magic. It's earned, quietly. But here's the real problem most people don't see. They want confidence before the practice. But confidence only comes after the repetition. People wait for confidence to appear like a gift. Once I feel confident, I'll speak English. Once I feel confident, I'll start that business. Once I feel confident, I'll show up. But that's the trap. You don't feel confident first. You practice daily until it becomes impossible not to believe in yourself. Everyone knows Michael Jordan as one of the greatest athletes in history. But what people forget is that he didn't even make his high school basketball team. He was cut from the team, told he wasn't good enough. Did he post about it? Did he complain to the world? No. He went into what he later called the shadow years, a time of silent, painful, lonely practice. Every day, every night, no cameras, no audience, just hard, private, focused work. By the time he entered the NBA, his confidence wasn't arrogance. It was armor. It was built from thousands of hours of doing the work. He didn't need to say, "I'm the best." His game said it for him. You want to speak English with confidence? Then stop waiting for the right moment. Confidence doesn't come from knowing every word. It comes from training your mouth every single day, even if you make mistakes, even if you feel awkward, even if nobody understands you at first. Because every practice session adds a brick to your confidence wall. You want to feel strong in interviews? Then answer questions out loud, every day, alone in your room. You want to stop feeling nervous around others? Then build a foundation so strong in private that public pressure feels like nothing. Speak 3 English sentences out loud every day. Don't whisper. Don't mumble. Own it. Practice your name, your story, your thoughts, not to impress others, but to train yourself. Do this for 30 days, and then walk into any room. Your confidence will not come from ego. It will come from proof. True confidence doesn't shout. It doesn't show off. It walks into a room, and people feel it without a word. You don't need to talk about being confident. You need to practice daily until it's visible. Let your discipline do the talking. Truth 9. Every practice session is a vote for the person you want to be. You don't need to change your whole life today. You just need to cast one small vote. Most people think transformation happens in big moments, big speeches, big life events, big goals. But that's not true. Change happens in tiny decisions, repeated consistently. Every time you show up to practice, every time you take the stairs, every time you speak that one English sentence, you are casting a vote. A vote for who you are becoming, not who you were yesterday, not who others think you are, not who you wish to be, but who you are actively choosing to become. James Clear's best-selling book Atomic Habits sold over 10 million copies because it introduced one powerful idea. Every action you take is a vote for the type of person you want to become. Not just goals, not just plans, actions. If you practice English for 5 minutes today, you're voting for the identity of a fluent speaker. If you read 1 page today, you're voting for the identity of a lifelong learner. If you push your comfort zone today, you're voting for the identity of a fearless person. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to vote daily. Because with enough votes, your identity starts to change. Not because you said it, but because you proved it. You're not stuck. You're just undervoted. You've voted for laziness too many times. You've voted for fear too many times. You've voted for tomorrow too many times. And that's okay, because today, you get to vote again. You get to choose again. You get to write your name on the ballot and say, "I'm becoming the person I was meant to be." One action at a time. Ask yourself this every day. What vote am I casting with this choice? Does this vote build me or break me? Does this move me closer to the future me or deeper into the past me? Then choose the right vote, no matter how small. Because it's not about big moves. It's about small votes cast consistently. You don't need to become a new person overnight. You just need to start voting for them. Daily. Because practice is not just effort. It's identity construction. With every English sentence you say, every distraction you reject, every book you pick up, You are telling the universe who you want to become. And if you keep voting, your transformation will not be a surprise. It will be a result. Truth number 10. Daily practice is the ultimate revenge. You don't need to shout. You don't need to prove. Just practice so much that success becomes your loudest answer. They laughed at you. They ignored your effort. They called you slow. They doubted your dream. They said, "You? Fluent in English? You? Become rich? You? Confident? You? Successful?" And those voices hurt. They stayed in your head. They followed you into your sleep, into your mirror, into your silence. But here's the thing most people don't realize. You don't need to fight them. You don't need to convince them. You don't even need to respond. Because the most powerful revenge is not screaming. It's not arguing. It's not proving your worth through words. The most powerful revenge is this. Show up every day in silence and build a life so strong that they choke on their doubts. For example, a volcano doesn't argue. It doesn't shout back at the people who doubt its power. It doesn't announce when it will erupt. Instead, it practices in silence, collecting pressure, building heat, layer by layer deep inside the earth. For years, sometimes decades, nothing seems to happen. People forget it even exists. They mock its stillness. They think it's weak. They call it dead. But then, one day, without warning, it explodes with unstoppable force. The entire world sees. No one can deny it anymore. That's what daily practice is. You don't need to prove yourself. You don't need to respond to doubters. You just need to keep building silently, every single day. And when the time comes, your results will erupt so powerfully that no one will ever question you again. Your success becomes your eruption. Your discipline becomes your revenge. You can either waste your life trying to explain your dreams to people who will never understand them, trying to defend your growth to people who fear it, trying to prove your worth to people who never saw it. Or you can do something different. You can go quiet. You can go deep. You can disappear from their opinions and reappear in success. You can practice in silence until your success becomes a sound so loud it deafens the world that once ignored you. Don't argue, don't complain, don't beg for validation. Just wake up tomorrow and practice. Practice your English. Practice your reading. Practice your habits. Practice your discipline. Practice your self-control. Practice your peace. And then repeat it every day. Because the most dangerous person in the world is the one who says nothing, but builds everything. This is not just about daily practice. This is about becoming the kind of person who doesn't break, even when the world laughs. You don't need to post your progress. You don't need to announce your goals. You don't need to say, "Look at me now." Your work will say it for you, louder, stronger, forever. Let your results be your revenge. Let your growth be your answer. Let your success be your voice. Because the one who practices daily becomes a storm. Listen closely. You don't need more motivation. You need more repetition. You don't need a miracle. You need a system. You don't need to shout louder. You need to train deeper. Because everything you dream of, everything you wish for, everything they said you couldn't have, is already possible. But it will never arrive through hope alone. It only arrives through daily, silent, boring, lonely practice. You want to be fluent in English? Don't wait for magic. Speak. Today, tomorrow, the next day, and don't stop. You want to change your life? Don't wait for motivation. Wake up. Move your body. Control your mind, track your habits, and don't stop. The world is full of people who started strong and gave up quietly. Don't be one of them. Be the one who trained. Be the one who built. Be the one who kept showing up, even when no one believed, even when no one clapped, even when no one noticed. Because one day they will ask, "How did you do it?" And you will say nothing, because your life will answer for you. If this video helped you, let it become your daily guide. Let it become your mirror. Let it become your system. And if you're serious about growing your English and your life, subscribe now. Because here, we don't just give you hype. We give you systems. We give you truth. We give you power. And now that you've learned the silent power of daily practice, there's only one thing left to do. Go do it. Every day. Without fail. Without fear. Without noise. And one day, the world will have no choice but to listen, because daily practice never loses.